What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Division 2 video. It's Tuesday, so we're going through our vendors and we're going to see what our items that are worth buying. So we'll get straight into it, starting with here in the theater. The only item I really saw that was really worth it was this first one here, the tsunami. It's obviously a named item. If you see a named item in a vendor that you haven't unlocked, just grab it. You want to bring up that proficiency while you have it, and hopefully you can find a decent one. This one is actually pretty good. The core attributes are pretty high up there. You maybe have to roll them 2 more times, even though optimization is pretty expensive. And you could probably swap out that max magazine if you wanted to, or just change it completely, whatever you wanted to do. But this comes with our talent Perfect Pummel. 2 consecutive kills refills the magazine and grants plus 40% weapon damage for 10 seconds. So maybe magazine size wouldn't be too bad. I'll just max that out, and you would have a pretty good roll of attributes here for this weapon. But the next 2 items are actually at the campus. And here at the campus, the first item is going to be the relic. Yes, the core attribute marks rifle damage is pretty low, but your headshot damage and your damage to armor attributes are pretty decent. So you could probably just roll that rifle damage to a maxed attribute, and you would have a pretty healthy relic right here. This comes with our talent Perfect Determined. After killing an enemy with the headshot, the next shot landed on an enemy will be a guaranteed critical headshot. While the talent is active, killing an enemy will not re-trigger the talent. Not a bad marksman rifle. It's a named item, so obviously it's going to be a lot harder to just find and, let's say, donate them to increase that proficiency on it. But now on our next one would be this tactical M249. Only just for that max attribute, the magazine size. If you don't have it in your library, why not just pick this up really quick? You don't have to just hope that you find it while you're focusing on your targeted loot, maybe for attributes. So 1 right here, and then now we move on to our Dark Zone. First of all, going with Dark Zone West. Dark Zone West actually has what I think is the best item so far, which will be the backup Boomstick. You have your maxed core attribute of shotgun damage. You have your damage to armor is pretty good. Critical hit damage is pretty good as well. And this comes with our talent Perpetuation. Headshots grant plus 50% status effect damage and duration to the next status effect you apply. You would probably just swap that talent out because your attributes are actually pretty good. I don't think they're bad at all. Maybe swap out that talent for something more useful or according to the build you're using, and you have a really good one right here. And then on this Dark Zone, we also have the Grupo Sombra gloves, which I would only grab for that core. If you don't have that in your library, I guarantee that's going to be very useful. Having those core attributes in your library are a must-have. So if you don't have them yet, definitely pick up the gloves if you have Dark Zone credits and grab that. And then our next item is actually in Dark Zone South. Yeah, the only item in Dark Zone South that I feel is worth it, which is just for, like I said, the library, would be here. Overlord Armaments. You have your max weapon damage. Another core that you definitely would need because you're probably going to have it on a build at some point. So pick this up if you haven't. I know Dark Zone credits might be a little hard to pick up if you're not playing Dark Zone heavily, and I gotta admit I don't. If you do, then hey, you might have the credits. If not, go out of your way a little bit. I've had a few times where I've been able to purchase stuff within a day of Dark Zone and just avoiding players because I'm just not a big fan of Dark Zone. But now we move on to actually just the White House, where I think the bulk of all the good items are in. Now at the main White House vendor, I would only say the only items that are really worth it are these 2 here. Your named items, the Prophet Pistol, which comes with Perfect Determined, same as your relic, and the Cabaret, which comes with Perfect Thunderstrike, deals 40% extra damage to shock targets. It's a good kind of combination with your St. Elmo's, if that's what you're running. And these attributes aren't too bad. You could obviously max out anyone that you want or switch out your regular attribute. But if you don't have these named items, obviously named items are a lot harder to unlock over these regular items here. But next up, I think we just have the Clan vendor and Countdown, which I think had some decent stuff. Now on the Countdown vendor, we have Emmeline's Guard, which as you can see has our max crit chance, pretty low rate of fire, which you could obviously just swap out because you have your talent Perfect Preservation. Killing an enemy repairs 12% armor over 5 seconds. Headshot kills improve the repair by an additional 12%. So you have 24% total armor over 5 seconds if you kill an enemy with a headshot. And your SMG damage is not bad, maybe 1 or 2 rolls in optimization, and it's maxed out. Reroll that rate of fire to whatever pleases you, and you'll have a really good, almost god rolled Emmeline's Guard. And then after that, you have your named item, the Sacrifice. I would always recommend getting these named items if you don't have them on the countdown vendor. It's super easy to rack up your countdown points and purchase almost everything within maybe a day worth of playing. With the Sacrifice comes with your Talent Perfect Glass Cannon. All damage you deal is amplified by 30%. All damage you take is amplified by 60%. So it's obviously not a item you would want to, you're going to be like in the enemy's face. At least I wouldn't if I'm taking in an extra 6. If their damage is amplified by 60%, I would have to really be killing everything immediately, because if not, you're just going to get destroyed. And with this, I would probably switch out that skill damage attribute to something maybe a little more useful than skill damage. You're probably not going to be focusing on skill damage running this chest piece. But next up, we have Night Watcher, which is always great. You have your 100% scanner pulse haste, which is awesome. You're pretty much going to always have your pulse, and especially if you're running your Banshee pulse, that's wonderful, especially if you're going up against hunters. Now, last items that I think are pretty worth it are in the clan vendor. Alright, in the clan vendor, we have a few items, starting with our named chest piece, the Henry for the Electric brand set. This comes with your Talent Perfect Companion. While you are within 10 meters of an ally or skill, total weapon damage is increased by 20%. I'm sure many of you know how broken this double companion has been lately. So if you don't have one of these chest pieces, definitely try to pick one up. The attributes are okay. You have almost a max weapon handling, and your skill damage is pretty low. You might keep this for now. Keep that weapon handling up there. Switch up the skill damage to either a maxed one or one that you prefer. But you'll probably end up switching it out for something more little focused on tech, rather than needing to switch out both that bad attribute that's really low and your weapon handling. I don't ever feel like weapon handling is really necessary. Recoil and all that isn't too difficult. But next up, we have a couple gear sets that aren't bad. These are definitely good starters. You can definitely find maxed ones just running countdown. But for Hotshot, for Hunter's Fury, and for Aces and Eights. And then after that, we have our Spaz 12 with the maxed attribute shotgun damage. Obviously, that's something you would want to have maxed out in your library. If you don't have it, pick that up. And then we have our Bellstone Armory backpack, which comes with max explosive resistance. So if you're running something like that, where you're going to have a lot of things popping off and you're going to be in that, there you go, you have your max attribute. But that is all we have that I feel is kind of worth it during this vendor reset. Let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. Were there any items I missed that you feel are worth it? And tell me why they're worth it. Or are there any items that you don't think are worth it at all? And I said, go purchase it. Let me know. Comment down below, and I'll see you all on the next one.